a director's meeting agenda. We'll be adding recognition for the swim team onto the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda for today, March 26th.
Is there a second?
I'm seconding.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The agenda has been approved. Do any board members have any conflicts of interest to declare? And we'll now move to honors and recognition, and we're going to. Oh, yes. Is there any public comment? For the agenda? Sandra Lindy.
Kind of on the other one, it's really it has to do with what you're going to be, the policy you're going to be doing today. And I just want you to know how probably. Oh, the microphone.
Oh, sorry. This is Sandra Lindy, and I'm here to tell the board how proud I am that you have made the policy about memorials. That was something that we looked at for many years. I actually looked at different school districts around the country, and the one that you have done is the best I have ever seen. And I think you've done a really good job, and you'll be adopting it today. And I know that is just something that has been very important to everyone on how do we best honor, people who have passed, and also support their families and support, the kids in general. So thank you for doing the policy, and I know you've done great things, but this is really significant.
Thank you. Thank you. Luis Ramirez.
Always be honor and remembrance for those that have understanding. Just for the name them real quick and have a place for that. I put something together. Yeah, I put something together because I would like the action this time. I would say, for good members of the school board, superintendents, staff, and families, and fellow students, I stand before you today not just for myself, but to speak on behalf of those who can no longer speak for themselves. The classmates who entered the senior year with the same dream we all once shared, to walk off the stage, shake hands with dignity, and receive the diploma that works so hard to earn. Life is unpredictably, and sometimes it's cruel. Took them from us before they could reach that moment. They are no longer physically here with us, but their absence does not use their presence in our hearts, in our memory, and in the story of this graduating class. These students created memories with the students and staff, sat in the same classrooms, laughed in the same hallways, leaned on the same teachers and counselors who once guided us all. They contributed to the spirit of our school. They mattered, and because they mattered, they deserve to be acknowledged on the day we celebrate the milestone they fought so hard to reach. Their families carry a pain no parents should ever know. That the empty chair at the dinner table, the one cap and gown, the future that was taken too soon. But it's not only the families who feel this loss, but their classmates feel it deeply. They walk those hallways carrying both pride for their achievements, but sorrow for those who are missing. The staff who poured their time and care into the students feel it too. They all believe they deserve a seat, symbolic or otherwise, among their classmates. They deserve to be named, they deserve to be honored. And the current policy at play, while perhaps well-intentioned, does not reflect the wishes of the very community it serves, and does not fully honor students' legacy, nor does it respect the voice of their grieving classmates and dedicated staff who wants to know the families who love them. We are asking respectfully that this policy get reevaluated. We ask that the voices of the students and the staff and the families be truly heard and given the weight they deserve. Graduation is not only a celebration for those who cross the finish line, but it's also a moment to remember and uplift every student who walked this journey with us, even if the path didn't too soon. To the families here tonight who have lost a child, please know you're not alone in wanting this recognition. Your child's life and effort touched all of us. To the fellow classmates, your desire to honor a friend is rather compassionate and important. Let us create a graduation ceremony that reflects the full truth of the senior year. One of joy, yes, but also one of remembrance and respect for those that passed. Let us know that our school community values every life that passed through those doors. I urge you as leaders chosen to represent and serve our students to listen with open hearts and reconsider this policy. Honor the memory of these students, given the recognition to your serving. Thank you for your time.
Now. So next we'll move on to honors and recognition. And we're gonna honor the former board member, Stephen Berg.
Oh, you say something.
Well, Steve, we wanted to express our gratitude for the time that you served your community, and you did it so well and with so much integrity. And you know that I'm very fond of you as a person, and you were such a great temperament to have on the team. You were always ready to direct and lead us how we needed to be led, even when you weren't our chair. You know, from the very beginning, you were just a really great asset to our team. And so I want to express my gratitude and appreciation for you. And I know this board does as well for your time that you served with us. Thank you.
Stephen, I would also like to say thank you. I feel like during our campaigns, even though other people tried to put us on opposing sides, you were always a stand-up guy. Like, you came to us, gave us our pep talks, and I really appreciated that.
Steve, of course, I appreciate the time that you supported the school district on the board too, and your leadership. So I appreciate it. So thank you so much. As a small token of appreciation, we do have a gavel for you. Thank you so much for all your work. Thank you.
Next, we'll honor the SHF. Next, we'll honor the SHF wrestling team, Coach Campos. Coach Mendoza.
All right, first we'll bring up Coach Campos, boys wrestling. I'll let you introduce, talk about the season.
Good. Okay season. I'm not lying. Okay season. We had some tough injuries and other things going on during the season. But we came back as a team and a family. We did what we could towards the end. We ended up placing third at districts. We ended up taking 6 losses to state. Like I said, it was the best season, but the kids did their best, and that's what all that matters is the effort they put into all the hard work, the 3-hour practices, Monday through Saturday, sometimes Sunday. And but overall we did good and we came back together and we finished strong. We didn't give up. So I'm proud of those wrestlers. Thank you.
We love you.
Oh, wrestling, yeah, I can bring my players. I don't, I'm not sure that I don't know. Yeah, I can have Caleb Campos, James Brad, Ray Romero, Kevin Ocampo. We're missing Mason Mendoza. And Silvano, Treviso. They're missing, I think they're maybe soccer practice or, I know Silvano probably has wrestling practice right now, but yeah, like I said, these gentlemen did an amazing job. They're some of the best guys in the state, and some of those guys are still continuing to wrestle. I want to actually wrestle this weekend to qualify for Fargo Nationals. So they're putting in the work still. So yeah. Thank you.
Thanks for coming, guys. For your hard work.
Shout out to the wrestling parents too. I'm not being biased, but it's hard work.
Yeah, thank you, parents, for being together. Appreciate it. Thank you guys for allowing me and other coaches, help your, student athletes out there. I know it's just about, the wrestling and the talking about the grades, watching, coming to school. It's all about that. It's not just about us. And so hopefully you guys understand that. Another great, they think and act in the athletes. I really appreciate that. Gives it like some great stuff. Because without that, then, well, what do you tell? Right.
Next, we have Coach Mendoza in girls wrestling.
Can I have to go over? Yeah, go over. We had a pretty good season this year. We started out with the biggest group of girls that signed the line and said, I want to try this. And we had 77 girls sign up. Yeah, and we go the first couple of weeks and it's pretty intense, and we see, not that we're trying to weed anybody out, but we want to, make sure they know what the commitment is and what we're trying to do as a program. We ended up with 46 at the end of the season. 18 qualified for state this year. We did have 5 placers. And then we had another first. We had 2 wrestlers in the finals. First time the girls ever had 2 wrestlers in the finals this year. After round 4, we were actually in first place. The second day of the first round, we found ourselves in first place. It had a great round, and then reality hit us, and we ended up placing 5th overall. We did win the district's championship, and we ended up losing the league championship by one more was late, but the atmosphere, we've talked about that, and we still talk about it. We had never seen that many people at a girls wrestling match, and I got to give credit to these girls right here and the other 44 that are not here tonight, but they sure really make it fun to be a coach. Abrina Brennan is a freshman. She took 5th in state this year. She wrestled 49 matches this year, which was pretty impressive for a freshman. And we're really looking for her to be our next state champion. Kalia Maltos, this is the 3rd round. She was took 8th this year, placed last year, placed 3rd with an alternate her freshman year, and she could be one of the 4-time state participants next year, which will be one of our leaders again. Danica Torres, you guys probably already heard that name. She opened the door for all our state girls to understand and believe that they can win state. She's our first state champion. We talked about that. Nobody's going to take that away from her. She'll always be the first state champion for Sunnyside girls.
She did make the finals again this year, and she ended up with the second place. She had to go through a girl that beat her three times this year, and she beat her in the semifinals. And she made it to the finals, and it just was close, but it was just not meant to be there, but it was okay. She had 126 wins in her career, so we're really proud of her efforts. Isabel Garcia is not here. She also got her Premier League wins this year. She took 5th place. And then that was it, right? So then we got our last one. Our second state champion ever. Alyssa Graciano, she's a junior. She'll be back to lead the team next year. Alyssa was, what seed were you? 5th seed. And she just had the right attitude, the right efforts. And we had talked about it in practice. You are going to be our next state champion. I just didn't think it was going to be this year, but we'll take it. She ended up winning 3-0 in the finals. And again, just one of those things where our girls are believing that they can do it. And we just believe we're going to get stronger and stronger as the program goes on. Coach Killian, Coach Toledano, we ended up with another coach that couldn't make it tonight, Stephanie Blankenship. You probably recognize the name of Sunnyside. She's been a tremendous help with us in the room. And we just want to make sure that we also thank all you guys, Coach Martinez and the office, the district office for all their support and their help and making sure that we can just wrestle and not worry about all the administrative stuff. So we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, they're getting their picture taken. I want, because I know that as soon as the students are done, they like to sneak out the back. So I just want to take a moment and express to the parents and to the students themselves how truly proud we are to have you as a Grizzly, because it's not about your skills and ability as an athlete. It's about the person that you are. And when we go out places, we hear nothing but positive comments about how respectful, how kind our students are and how our athletes act. And so that's what brings real pride to Sunnyside, is when we hear that you are outstanding people and not just outstanding athletes. So thank you, parents and students, for all you do.
We have futsal and boys basketball.
I'd like to say, and I can say this for with my coaching staff also, what an honor and a privilege it has been to coach and recommend this season. It's just a tremendous group of kids that play their hearts out every single night, and we got as far as we could. The team ended up with a 15-9 win-loss record, won 3 games to make it to the state tournament for only the second time in the last 36 years. Very proud of these guys. It's a great bunch of kids. We've had great leadership from Coach Martinez to helping us with our program. He's been invaluable in getting things done. And I was thinking on the way here, when we get ready to play games, and I look out and I see our superintendent at our games, I see our principal at our games, I see all administrators at our games. That means something. It really does. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to these athletes that we have, and the community support that we got this year. Our gym was full most of the nights for our games. It was heartwarming and much appreciated. But I'll give the mic. You guys pass on the mic and stuff for you.
Coach Cervantes, I just coach the C team. Coach Ramos, I coach the JV. My name is Hernán Lozano. Marvel Reynolds, I'm a junior. I'm a junior. Dominic Salinas, a sophomore. Luke Salinas, a junior. And a sophomore. Timmy Lemos, I coach Cycle's assistant. Tim Lemos, I'm a senior.
George Campbell Senior.
Andre Ballmar is junior. Hey, we're missing one kid. He's off from California playing basketball right now. I think Amy Sanchez. But I heard from his mom this morning. That's where it was going. Oh, and Ike's not here, right? Yeah, and Ike Weeks is not here, but he's a senior, and Aiden is a junior. But anyway, we want to again thank you, all the community and the school for your support. We appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Got enough space, Mrs. All?
Yeah, we're good.
Night, coach of the year, Coach White with White Sweat.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure seeing so many of my athletes and students with the wrestling programs who have made such a big impact. I know them either from the classroom or from cross country. It'd be great if I could get to know some of the basketball players for spring track. It looks like we have some real athletes in the sprinters and jumpers. It's too late this year, but hopefully next year. So I had the pleasure this past season of coaching our boys swim team, which has absolutely exploded in participation numbers over the past few years. 4 years ago, when I first started coaching, we had 7 boys. We all fit in one van, made for some fun adventures coming home in the fog from Moses Lake. And this past year, we had over 30 swimmers. So if we happen to find a accounting error in our favor in the building fund, where like the zero is off in the wrong spot, and you have an extra $3 million sitting around, you can use a pool. And along with that growth has come the opportunity to become involved not just with WIAA swimming, but also with the inclusion of the unified program. Washington Interscholastic Athletics Association has partnered with Special Olympics in 3 varsity sports. They happen to be the sports that I coach: cross country, swimming, and track and field. And this gives an opportunity for Special Olympic athletes to be a member of a high school varsity program, to train with them, compete with them, and oftentimes partner up with them in relays or tandem events. One of the people that we're going to be recognizing tonight, Sal Mancano, went to the state meet for cross country this fall. And he made a return trip to the state meet for swim just a couple of months later. Sal didn't even know how to swim when he joined the team. And somehow, without a pool, we still managed to teach him how to swim. It was amazing. So I'd like to invite Isaiah and Salon to come on up so we can recognize them for their achievement. They both did an amazing job this winter. Worked really, really hard, got stronger, and somehow managed to get faster and faster throughout the season. One of the best things that I've learned about having unified athletes with my teams is, yes, it's a great opportunity for them to become better athletes and be involved with varsity teams, but it makes our varsity programs better. Our kids are better for having the unified program implemented in with the mainstream program, and I hope that the program gets expanded to other sports because it's really made a difference with cross-country swimming and track. And I would love for the other programs to be able to have this kind of great influence that these young men bring with them when they join our team. So one more time, Salvancano, Adel Navar, our new.
Just a fun fact, when we asked some of Mr. White's swimmers why they chose to do swim team, they said it is because of, or cross country, I believe it was cross country and swim team. And they said it's because of the coach that he is. So thank you again, Coach White, because your athletes see it and they appreciate all your hard work.
Next for honors and recognition is Strengthen Families and Prevention Fund, Sunnyside United Amigos, and Nuestra Casa. I am I'm the coaching coordinator for Sunnyside United Amigos. And tonight, first, we want to recognize our families. We had a really amazing partnership with Nuestra Casa. And we graduated 8 families. The 7-week program is a dedicated program, building stronger connections, communication, and it's dedication the 7 weeks. So we want to recognize our 8 families that have graduated. And I believe Marta, can you say that? She wanted to talk a little bit about her experience in the program. So, Marta.
Disculpe que solamente hablo español. Ok, gracias a este programa y gracias a las personas que ayudaron para que fuera posible y gracias a nuestra casa por el apoyo que nos dio. En estas 7 semanas fuimos alrededor de 8 familias, al cual ese programa nos ayudó mucho para que poder comprender y aprender más a nuestros hijos. Sé que con amor y poniendo límites, nuestros hijos van a ser mejores, van a poder ser mejores estudiantes, hijos, padres en un futuro y sobre todo van a poder ser mejores ciudadanos para este país. Gracias.
Yeah, I do have. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. No, go ahead.
Let me see if I capture. In summary, we want to thank everyone for this program. We know that with what we learned tonight, our students and we as parents are going to be able to be better parents and our students will be better individuals here in our community.
I also have tonight Orlando and again. Orlando is our president from our high school prevention club. If you don't know, we do have 2 middle school prevention clubs here, Vista and Harrison. And then we most recently adopted Washington, second year, which is awesome. But Orlando wants to speak a little bit about some opportunities that we were given this year.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm the president of the French Club at high school, and the first opportunity I want to talk about today is being able to go to Washington D.C. to learn more about how not only Sunnyside but the country as a whole is going through a drug crisis. I remember one of the trainings I went to, they talked about drug sales for addiction, where major companies sell marijuana, or marijuana is used for medical purposes, but there's no real research behind it, that there's no real benefit. It's just more like a way to get people to buy more drugs and for those people to gain money. And there was something else I forgot. There's Dr. Gold, who major major person in the neuroscience of the human body, and he wrote food addiction and body, and you should check that out. Me personally, I haven't been able to check that out, but I need to. We were also able to talk to Congressman Dan Newhouse, where we raised concerns that there's not really nothing for youth to do in Sunnyside. Of course, we have the sports like wrestling and all those other sports, but outside of the high school, there's not really nothing else besides the schools. We see around the gazebo area that there's a lot of bars for the adults to go to, and um, most times these bars have like drink responsibly, but that's just for them to have like illegal rules to say that drunk adults, and when they crash, there's like no sense for them to get in legal trouble, which is why I wanted to raise the concern of having more activities in Sunnyside for the younger kids, of course, and for maybe middle schoolers. My second opportunity that I was able to have was being able to go to Olympia to raise concerns about lack of funds at the school for the therapists. We see at early ages, the middle school, not middle schools, the elementaries have been able to have vapes found. You could ask the like principals, and they have like a stash of vapes, which is incredibly disheartening, as these kids shouldn't be going through such a rough time to rely on drugs. There's only two therapists at the high school level, Lino Sanchez, and I don't remember the other therapist, Daisy. And for 2,000 students, that's not really much when there used to be a lot more at the John Hughes Center, which unfortunately shut down this year due to lack of funds. And that's it, yeah. Oh, and then our event, which our video night, which I would love to invite you guys to. Thank you. This night will be last year's focus was the effects drugs have on the human body. This year it'll be on coping mechanisms, where we will have various sorts of paintings such as face painting, canvases, and egg painting, and our finale would be scavenger hunt with a loteria with a chance of winning a prize of gift baskets and gift cards. Yeah.
Yo quería agradecer a los padres por estar aquí y también a nuestra casa porque siempre está apoyando en esto. Sabemos que es muy importante involucrarnos en la educación de nuestros hijos. So, me siento muy orgullosa de estar aquí y les quiero agradecer. Let's go into discussion items, and we're going to start with transportation update. We're going to see so.
Okay. I'll just start out that we service over 4,100 students per day on our buses. Quite a bit actually. And with that said, that's a fleet of 58 buses and 17 support vehicles. We spent over 45,000 gallons of fuel a day transporting those items as of yesterday, actually. So that's quite a bit of fuel that we spend. And that's been a big concern to us here in the last month. Because at the start of this month, our fuel cost was $4.28 a gallon. In the last couple of days, our fuel cost was at $6.08 a gallon. As of today, though, we did get a price decrease of $5.84 a gallon. So it is a substantial cost to the district. We normally buy about 8,000 gallons a month. This last month, we bought $4,500 to help reduce that cost. That saved us, year to date, we have saved about $13,000 over last year. Don't know what this end of this month is going to bring to us. That could wipe out that $13,000 savings. So that is a concern of ours. Now, with that 58 fleet bus or fleet, at 58 fleet, 4 of those buses are electric buses. That has helped cut down substantial savings to us. That has saved us about 6,000 gallons over the last year because we have 2 of those routes locally. We only have 2 of those 2 other routes on long distance trips. One of them being over to the Silver Dollar. And that one is actually, that was a little bit of a concern to us at first because we were afraid that we would have the power to supply that, but we did. And it's continued to run very successfully. And we're going to continue to keep that around to help savings of that fuel cost. We continue to work on savings. Before President Trump decided to add tariffs to the Canadian borders and the Mexican borders, we looked at our parts room, made sure that anything was made in Mexico or Canada, we purchased outright, purchased more. So we were able to fill up our parts room with filter stuff that we would go through on a regular basis, and we're still working through that supply. Saving us quite a bit of money as far as purchasing filters now with tariffs. So those are some of the savings that we've been looking at. We recently purchased 7 new buses. Those buses, Sheppy called us yesterday. Those buses would be completed in production by early July. It should start hitting our district late July, early August, with the last bus possibly coming in early September. So we'll get like 2, 3, and then get 2 more. These are all useful buses. So those should be arriving probably no later than the last ones arriving on the first or second week of August. With that said, I'd like to kind of switch it over to Eric, and he's going to talk a little bit about our routing.
Like you said, my name is Eric Morrow. I'm the transportation coordinator for Sunnyside. Us in transportation believe that the school day doesn't start at the front door, it starts at the stop sign. There's not a school bus. Since the bus is extension of this classroom, our goal is to ensure every student's first experience is safe and positive. This is only possible because of everyone works very hard and incredibly hard for entire department staff to put this in a single day. Okay, so let's talk about routes. So our school bus routes daily is we have 27 regular routes, 7 special needs routes, and we have 2 special routes to go to past the day. When we're saying routes, that's basically AM and PM. So there are 27 routes are out first thing in the morning. 5 of our routes start at basically 5:30 to 5:45 a day. And then routes will go from that time till when they finish off at 9 o'clock or 9 o'clock a.m. With that being said, that's 2 routes. So basically we're dealing with high school and we're dealing with middle school kids on the first one, and then we turn around and we go back and do the elementary Sun Valley kids. Right now with the transportation department, we have 27 or 37 contracted drivers. We have 8 contracted assistants that are basically on special needs routes. And right now, we basically have 8 substitute drivers and 7 substitute assistants. You might think that might be a lot, but it's not, because there's so many activities, athletes, events that go on, school functions and stuff. We are always looking for more drivers. With that being said, you say you have 8 substitute drivers, but constantly we have 6 office staff people that have CDLs and almost 3 out of 4 times we're out on buses too, trying to get them safer. So desperate need for help. We still need more bodies. Most of our subs are basically they're retired, or they basically have a second job and they're coming over to give us a hand when make some extra money. I think we have 3 Walmart drivers that they give us dates. I can work Monday, Wednesday, Friday, blah blah blah. So we put them to work as much as possible. And we use them to we thank them for everything they possibly give us. And like I said, on the time frames, that morning routes from 5:30 in the morning till 9 o'clock. Afternoon routes are basically from 1:30 we start up, we go to 5 o'clock. And that's pretty much our day. With that being said, we also have a 21st century that goes out right now. And we're servicing or taking kids home from Washington, Allen, Pioneer, CK, every Monday through Thursday. And that's after hours. So basically, we're picking them up at 5:15 and trying to have them home by 6:15, 6:30. It keeps us pretty busy. Not even talking about, we do have 3 routes that are midday routes that are basically transferring special needs kids from pre-kinders to school, and then also picking kids up at the school and take them home because they can't make it to the program. With that being said, we figured out just in miles alone for the school year, from the start of the school year to right now, we drove over 211,000 miles on just routes. So these buses are on the road.
Our trip schedules, we do run a lot of trips for sports, mostly in our high school runs. We travel about, up to date, we're at 35,000 miles a day on our trips. And that's substantial. That's about 6,000 gallons that we use. It's very, very worthwhile program. We're getting ready to come into the heaviest part of our trip program, which is spring sports, spring college visits. Those will take a lot. So that 35 miles can easily become 60, 70 miles by the end of the school year. So you put a lot of miles on our bus. We have about 10 buses that we probably need to surplus at the end of the year. And we're looking to at least, we've already surplus 2. We're probably going to surplus another 3 here in the next week or 2 to make room for those 7 that are coming in. They're off of our depreciation list. They're no longer making us money for us by being parked there or being used. So, we'll continue to purchase fewer buses so that we can get that depreciation to stay. Right now, we're sitting on a 13-year depreciation. I haven't checked the Senate or the governor if he signed the bill. Is it now 15? Because if you knew it was coming, it was very, very close. So it's just not a 15. So 7 new buses are coming in. We'll be on a 15-year depreciation.
One other thing I'll mention about the routing, forgot to say, each one of them routes is basically off a program that's called Transversa. So when our drivers get in their bus in the morning, they're going to turn their tablet on, and then they take off to the route. That route will tell them GPS-wise exactly what stop to go to, and it's basically what time they're supposed to be there to pick the kids up. We're constantly getting calls from parents on hey, where's the bus and this and that. So we try really hard to try to look at the tablet, look at the route that is, and give that information to the parents. Sometimes it changes when you have a sub driver or something on it that's not quite familiar with the route or anything like that. do their best there. And, it's a very good program. One thing that we're finding out is there's a few bugs in it that we have to kind of work out with just speed limits on different roads, because right now it basically says all roads are 17.5 miles an hour. And we're a little off on that, so we have to adjust times a little bit on that until we can get the program figured out.
So is there someone always at the office, if there's like phone calls and stuff, there's someone always there manning that phone and then they call up to you?
Yes, we have 6 people that work at the office, myself and Lori. We have a routing dispatcher, the 2 secretaries there, and also a trainer, like a school bus trainer. So there's constantly someone at the office all the time.
And so they're there up until the last route, up until the last bus comes in for the.
They are usually there till 5 o'clock. So we're basically there from 6 in the morning till 5 o'clock. Usually when the 5 o'clock comes around, either myself or Roy will have our radio. So if we have to contact with the driver or if they have a question or whatever, they can get us there. So answering your question, no, there's not someone there after 5 o'clock.
But the buses don't go after 5 o'clock today. Well,
No,
like
it's
during school hours.
Yes, the only time they're after 5 o'clock is if they're on 21st Century or something like that, where they're finishing up or on a program or a story.
So for 21st Century, what time are they coming in?
Usually the buses are coming in like between 6:15 and 6:30.
So if there was an issue with the bus at that time, no one's there to answer them?
Like I said, Roy and myself usually have our cell phones.
Oh, great.
Radios that we communicate with the drivers.
Okay.
How would our parents know that though? Like, where do we have like announcements of if your student is on 21st Century and for some reason they're lost, or not lost, but like on a different bus or something, where would our parents call? Especially since right now that we're live, right? That's important for our parents to know that when after hours, right, after 5 p.m., where would that all go to?
I can share that the site coordinators do share the numbers with families, so that is, so each school has a site coordinator. That's what
Usually if there's an issue with the standard or whatever, they're contacting the school or they're right there at the school trying to find their student or whatever. And then, you know, the principal or the person that's in charge of that program at the school is getting a hold of the
When you talk about, you know, all of the miles that have been ran, how many mechanics do we have?
You have 3.
3 mechanics.
So then 3 mechanics, it's not just working on school buses, they're keeping all the vans and the cars and anything that they can service, they're servicing. Besides saying that, they're 3 CDL drivers too, and we use them all the time on the road just because of the shortage.
And 2 of those mechanics are electric certified, so they can actually work on the 2 electric buses. One is not. So we do have the equipment for them to work on those buses, and they are certified. That will save us costs from outsourcing.
Do we just service Sunnyside School District, or do we service any other districts outside?
We service Napton, we service Pickleton. Recently, we serviced buses for Zilla, and we do service Spark.
And those services, I'm assuming there's a cost, right? They pay into. Okay.
There is. If you're laboring or labeling.
Doug Roger, do you go to school calendar?
Good evening, guys. Can I share a quick thank you for last Tuesday? I was unable to be here, but we just want to express my thanks for the discussion that took place around the board. There's a lot of work. So thank you for that time.
You were given a lot of credit for your time in that and you as well.
Oh,
Your team.
that was the team, those kids were. We are going to move on to calendar. All right, so policy 2220 shares what some of the expectations are both for policy and procedure. We've done this for a few years now, but I'll kind of recap so you have an understanding. We invite participation of all of our labor management groups. We get really good response from that. And we begin with the meeting
really just talking about what are the things we must do with the calendar, what are the things that have to be considered. So everything from holidays, we have to account for 180 days. We have to have trimesters built in there. We have to make sure that we have the right number of days and time before graduation. And crazy thought, we have to consider what's best for kids. Some of the other things that we talked about are the may-dos, I guess. So maybe some traditions, things like that. So this year was nice. We didn't have any snow, but we have to include some makeup days. We traditionally have had a graduation on a Friday, so we plan around that. It doesn't have to be that way, but those are things we consider. We consider what our neighboring districts are doing, because we know we have a lot of families that are in the slower valley and going to both or have kids in both. Winter break, another one that we've traditionally done the last few years. So it was, knock on wood, I think the most efficient process we've ever gone through. 2 meetings, that's never happened. We started with really just a replica of this year. That was foundationally of what we had this year. And most people were pretty pleased with it. We kind of broke it down, looked at some different options. We left, everybody got feedback from their peers and their labor management groups, came back, and really we came with 3 calendars and 2 are really similar. So in the second meeting, we kind of worked through 2 of them and put them into one and came out with 2 really good calendars, some subtle differences in there. You'll see some different starts and ending, things like a different Thanksgiving than the other. So you'll see some subtle differences, some differences in our professional development as well. And those went out to both. And I'm not sure, have you guys seen results or
No.
Okay. So thank you, Ivy, for this. She desperately wanted to come up here and speak to you guys. Out of through the staff, we break it down by all the different categories: certificated, classified administrators, non-rep, custodian, educators, and all the people that were represented. It was 56% in favor of calendar 2 and 44% for calendar 1. That was 400 submissions to that vote, which is pretty high vote. For the, we had 182 responses from our parents, which is a really nice number as well. And that was 60.4% for calendar 2 as well. So looked like calendar 2 was the favorite among everyone. There were a couple, some small numbers, very close numbers, and within some groups that were a couple off for about 50-50 or 45-55, but pretty good. Yeah. Any questions? I ran into everything. Ryan said I had an hour, so.
But so, you know, because I'm learning, you said, so who's all involved in like the creating it?
Sure. Yeah. So we basically send out to all our labor management groups. So secretaries, SEA is a big member of that. Educators, security.
So a rep from them.
Yeah, and not everyone shows up, but I would have one-on-ones with the lead person from that group in between, just to make sure we have voice heard, email out, and talk to your people, give us feedback. Gosh, I apologize. I should have brought who all attended, because we have about probably 15 people, I think, that attended from various groups. Great discussion. Some things that were interesting conversations about some struggles if we have a Monday off for our nutrition staff that goes into really interesting to hear from transportation days in August versus days in June. Just things that was just great to have everybody's voice and hear just points of view that we might not have. So
You mentioned it was a little different this year, but it was easier, or
Yes,
what changed?
We had some repeat clients, so people that came back already knew a lot about how it worked, and once you put those must-dos in there, you really limit what you can do. You can start a lot earlier. go a lot later, and even flex it this way, but it's just really difficult to come up with a substantial change. I think, talking to Ryan, like, if we ever looked at something much bigger, that's a 1.5 year, 2 year process to really look at it. That's that point, so.
I've had a few people come to me, that were unhappy about the, graduation being a week later and then the last day of school being another week later. What do I say to that? Like, it's so, how graduation is a whole, like, the next, like, it's usually the first Friday of June. And then this year, it's for option 2, which is the one that has the most votes, right? It's the second Friday.
It's interesting too, because if you look at, where Labor Day lands as well, what is Labor Day on?
Labor Day
7th, which that's typically not at the 7th, that's the latest it would be, is usually back in that first. So that shifts things a little bit, it creates that impact. Essentially, you have to start pretty early back in August. I think if we shifted back so far, then we run into the same, or we started back so early, right? I mean, it's rough to hear the way all.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait for the calendar you give us that we get out of the first.
Yeah. School May 31st. We will have a winner then.
We joke that our goal is to create where we start later and end earlier.
Yeah.
You see that, right? Yeah.
It's okay.
Well, thank you guys, appreciate it.
Let's go have a school update from Chief Logan. Right, Chris Anderson and
Amy Peters.
Okay.
Yes. I think it's great.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for having us tonight. We get to come up here and brag about our awesome school. We appreciate that. Again, I think Univista's been Frank, the principal, Amy Pierce, our instructional coach, and Chris Emerson, our assistant principal. We want to give you a little glimpse of our ABCs throughout the year. And so our A standing for academics, our B for behavior, and C for culture. So let Amy start off with our academics.
Great things start at CK, of course, right? We got the district initiative of strong classrooms a couple of years ago, and we've just really taken that, really tried hard to strengthen our tier 1 instruction, which means that we are reaching every kid at high levels, no matter what. So that is what we go for. These two gave us a lofty goal of 80% proficient in our formative assessments in our classrooms. And so my job is to support that. So by one of the ways we support that is by the use of planning days. So CK, with the help of Cheselina a few years ago, started planning days, and it's spread across the district now. And what we do on planning days is really look at what we want kids to be able to know and do based off the essential standards. We build it together as a PLC team. We come up with assessments to make sure that we're checking if our students are learning along the way so that we can adjust if needed. And we are bringing in some of the other initiatives that we have across the district, like AVID, into those planning days and making sure that we're intentionally planning those strategies within our lessons daily. The other thing that we are proud to say that we have professional learning days throughout our year, and we use those professional learning days to model AVID strategies with our staff using the curriculum that we have so that they can visually see that and implement that into their classroom. So another support for our staff. This year, we've been working really hard on the 5 phases of note-taking and collaborative strategies, because again, we want them to be lifelong learners and to use that in their career, even though they're just first graders, they can take notes. And the next thing that we also do is we use our staff meetings as professional development.
So a lot of times our staff, for example, will bring their notes that their kids have been taking, so that our fifth graders can see what first graders are doing, our teachers. And that our first grade teachers can share, well, this is supporting our next grade level as we go up, so we vertically align. And then the last thing that we're really proud of is our learning walks that we started a couple of years ago. Teachers open up their classrooms to have other teachers come watch them, and we get to see the great strategies that our teachers are using inside the classrooms with our own students. And so we just really share the learning, and we build our collective efficacy from that. That is A in a nutshell.
B is for behavior. One of the things that we were able to do this year is take a look at our PBIS system, our positive behavior intervention supports. And it was time for kind of a refresh to revisit some of those things due to turnover and this time. It was time to take a deeper dive in that sense. So when we were looking at tier 1, really serves as the universal foundation of our behavior culture. We were fortunate enough to start collaborating with the ESD this year. We've had a person come in and join us who took us through a tiered fidelity inventory and was looking at all the different things we should have in place. Really pressed us to say, let's see it on paper. Took us through some revision. And in order to do that, we formed a tier 1 team that's made up of teachers, our counselors, our school psych, our admin team. About everybody. So we've got about 12, 15 people that have been engaged in the work. And we started reviewing some foundational documents. And all those are rooted in the 3 main behaviors of be safe, be responsible, and be respectful. You'll see that across, I think, all of our elementary schools, as well as our some of our secondary schools. And one of the first things we did was define what does that look like in the different areas across the building. So in our learning areas, our bus zones, what's it look like in the restroom, in all those areas to be safe, to be responsible, and to be respectful. So we defining what those look like for students. Eventually you'll see those in posterized form across the buildings. Once those are in place, then we task our staff with creating teach-tos or lesson plans for each of those. And so on the PD day in January, we took some time and broke our teams up, and we gave them a particular area and format for that so that they could draft lesson plans that then get delivered at the beginning of the year as we open school to teach the expectations. I listed some of those, the restrooms, the other ones are cafeteria. We have them for the playground and outside, drop-off areas. And the whole intent is to deliver those lessons to students so they know what those expectations. Once that's in place, then we started to define a little bit of a behavior flow chart, a bit of a matrix. So around some of those behaviors, you have minors and major issues that pop up. Typically, our minor issues are ones that we can address in a classroom, and the flow chart kind of outlines the steps that a teacher would take throughout the process, so that provides some consistency across the classrooms. Then there's other ones, more major incidents get referred to the office. And again, there's a bit of a flow chart that shows what you could expect in those steps. All of that work, as we've been doing this in the process, have been taken back to our staff. The team kind of did the heavy lifting. We take it back to our staff, feedback, input across our system. We're making revisions as we go with the goal of solidifying all these things. The other part, big part of the program is also the positive reinforcement part of this. So as students are meeting and exceeding expectations, they earn our Cup Cash. We've gone from paper copies to a digital system. Students are rewarded. They essentially have a bank account that they build up. And then once a month, we have a school store that opens, and every student can cycle through it. They have the opportunity to purchase little things here and there, as well as some experiences that they can purchase. We have a rock wall in the gym at CK, so they can purchase the opportunity to go do that. We have lunch with administrators and counselors that they can purchase. Free recess, we had one of those just this last week on Tuesday, where they got 15 minutes of extra recess. And recently, popcorn and Colettas were pretty popular. So, so we try to provide different opportunities that they can go to the store to purchase, and then plan those incentives that they've earned. The last part that we have coming up in one of our last meetings then is discussing data and having data protocols. So as we, as staff are entering into majors or minors, we can start to see trends or issues that might be popping up across the building, whether it's a grade level, it could be a certain area. Just like academics, when we've taught something and we see that we need to intervene to reteach or support that, this would work the same way. So the team would get data periodically to review, and then based on that, make some decisions on if we have to reteach in a certain area or implement some strategies along the way. So I think we're about one more meeting from finishing that up. We've talked about rolling out some of this as a soft piece here in the spring, just to see how that's working, and then have everything in place to start up.
And I'm going to end with the culture. And to us, I think this is the biggest piece, because without a solid culture in your school, you aren't going to achieve those academics or have the behavior in place that you have. So I wanted to kind of give you some ideas of some things that we have done over the years, in some cases, 20 years they've started and kept going, that really make kids feel like they want to be there, that they feel part of the school. We have, in culture, you have that inclusion property where you are going to include everybody. And we have two important groups in our school that is the high cap population in our self-contained class, and also our deaf ed program of age 3 to 4th grade right now. So, and that's an amazing program to watch and see. And we really feel strongly about CVE, which you've probably heard that before. It came from the high school and our work together, but connecting kids and staff to the school, building solid relationships and envisioning their future. So we try to base all of that around things. So kids are like, when's the talent show? I mean, they know, they expect these things. They know they're going to come. The giving store was a huge thing. I kind of listed lots of things on the paper that you have. We now have our therapy dog, which y'all met, I think, November, December, Scout Chambers. Scout belongs there. And just getting him out to classrooms where all kids get to experience. So that's our next step with Scout. We have whole school student months every month in the gym. We came back from COVID, several years ago. We were doing a lot of things still online. That was one of them. We're like, no, all together. We have some competitions between the grade levels. And it's just a really neat experience having everybody in one location once a month. But it is a very fun time. Outdoor education, huge for our 5th graders. We've been able to go to Camp Dudley for 2 years and spend the night. We do it in September. And then we spend a couple more days. We're going April 30th and June 5th, but that's the 5th graders for day trips. But the spending the night, our teachers talked about it and said, we decided our days for next year. We can't give up our spending the night days. That the kids keep talking about that. And so we're going to try to make that work. Outdoor funding, it's been kind of cut. So we're trying to figure out ways to make sure we can continue that for our 5th grade kids. And that's another huge culture piece. Our giving store, something CK's done for a long time, where kids come and they get to buy things with their cup cash, which we really don't take cup cash, but they purchase items so they can take it home, and teachers often wrap them with them in their classrooms, and they get to take them home with their siblings or their grandparents or their moms. That's very special. And we had a great donation from the dollar store, and he gave all these toys, and the kids, and you get to pick out one for you. And they were so excited, and they were jumping. Even our older kids, it was really neat to see. So the giving store has become its own thing. So that's been really special. We just had our first career fair, and we focused 4th and 5th grade because it was a big thing. We hadn't really done that before. And so now thank you for coming. And the kids really enjoyed it. And now our staff was like, okay, how can we open that up our 1st through 5th? And what are the experiences we can get for our little guys? So we're going to make it bigger and better next February. Avid is huge, like Amy spoke about, and I think we went to a showcase this week over at Sierra Vista, which was fabulous. That is our goal, to be like Sierra Vista, and we are going to be doing a showcase here in April for our district. So we welcome you to come and enjoy that, and then we are opening ourselves to be hopefully a showcase school across the state. Yeah. So I think that's it. If there's any questions you might have for us. Yeah, we have some teachers and parents that teach our kids, and so we do it in the courtyard outside in the morning, and we've had the mariachi band coming from middle school over, so that's been really fun. Parents, and it's just a big kind of morning celebration. Yeah.
I wanted to say I love the club passion. My kids were CK kids too.
Yes.
Love CK. But we still have a runner that my daughter bought for me for Christmas with her club passion. And we still use it for Christmas. It says blessings on it. Beautiful. We still have it. It's been so fun of them. What was the one that Vanessa and I went to?
That was our Weeda night that directed totally by Amy. Just a great experience. We partnered with Maria Sehat at the district office and Lorenzo, bringing our families in to learn about how are you setting goals with your kids? How do our kids set goals to improve their skills in listening and reading and writing? So and it's really tied to our Weeda test. So we really try to promote that. And give them some experiences so they understand what their kids are being asked to do, because it's a really difficult thing.
Yeah.
So yes,
it was really cool to see, because I didn't know much about that either, and it was tough. The questions I was being asked, and I
right.
It was so hard. So that was really cool. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
I wasn't able to attend the career fair. I thought it was great. Even the students, the way they came in with their questions, and they were like, and so what would be advice that you would give, in my age, and what is your career? What did you need to do to get, into what you're doing? So I was just like, wow, that was pretty good. So I thought that
really seriously.
I thought you did great with it. And this was your first year doing it.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So I thought it went well. So
Thank you.
I do have a question on the PBIS. Is this the first year you all are doing PBIS?
No.
Okay.
2016, our district did a lot of work with that. In fact, we pulled up documents for like 2016. And it's just really time for kind of a revamp and like looking at it, because a lot of our staff, you train them and then you just kind of assume everyone knows, and I've hired you. And so here we go. This is how you do it. Now it gives them the background of really what it is about.
And the reason why I ask is when you're talking about data collection, I think that when we're doing reports for school, it would be good to see reports too of like previous years, right, where they were at, and now with, positive behavioral intervention and supports. I think it would be good to see if those numbers are declining, right, because of the positive reinforcements that are happening. So I think that even for like our schools that are coming up to do, giving us information on the schools, I think that that's what I would like to have too, is just to see the support systems that we have in place, like what has been the previous year's data and where are we at maybe this year, and see what's going on, what's going well and maybe what's not, and how we can help support us to so. And the reason why I say this is because Jolie, I have to tell you this. When we went to Sierra Vista, the information that she showed, I was just very, very, very surprised, right? And that was great. So now it's like you put that bar up there where I'm like wanting to see that. I want to bring that information out. Not do that, sorry. But I think it's great, right? So just to see like where we've been at in the previous years on data and moving forward with these support services that we have, I think that would be good to see too. But thank you for the report. It's great.
Thank you.
I was gonna ask you. Yeah. Nope. Since you revamped you took a new approach with the PBIS this year, have you seen any changes from like last year? Have you seen any like growth or like positive, negatives? Like, do you feel like it's just continued the way it's always continued? It's just you guys feel refreshed as a unit? I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, Yeah, I think the work started in about November, and so a lot of it was revising, revamping, kind of making sure we have all the docs in place to be able to then share across. That way we see some consistency across behaviors, interactions, and that kind of thing. So I think it's too early to say, because we really haven't implemented the new portions yet, but we have increased the conversations and the discussions around the new documentation. And so I think as we start to roll out, starting with the behavior expectations into the teach twos, and then really solidify the data collection piece, that we'll really be able to start to track and see really where we can, based on what we're measuring, then, you know, where are we the most effective or where we might need to do. So I think it's been nice in terms of the conversation's been great. The staff's been very receptive to it. And I think it's definitely one of those pieces that everybody's offering their inputs and insights to. So excited to kind of do the relaunch of the revised portions. A lot of the pieces have been in place and existing, but now I think across the system, we'll see the consistency in the initial portion of it. And then with the data coming in, to make those adjustments. So looking forward to new things. I think to be able to say is last year better than this year would just be kind of based on feelings. And so once this is in place, then we'll know this has been done when it was done, and then be able to adjust.
So you know what our question is.
Yeah.
Write it down.
You spoke so passionately about it when you were beginning to talk earlier, so that's kind of my question.
I have a question. So with your behavioral, you use like referrals, and do you guys have a specialist that does that, collects the data, or how does it work? If you don't mind explaining.
Currently, we have a program, I think it was formerly known as Kickboard at Power School, purchased it as Positive Behavior Supports. It allows us in that tool to both be able to track the incentive side or the cup cash side of it. And then it also has where you can enter in incidents and you can enter in referrals. And so part of the work actually after probably spring break will be to take our new behavior matrix, align it to our majors and minors. Currently right now we could provide data like around be safe, be responsible, be respectful. But as that gets aligned, and that system provides the opportunity to be able to pull data from interactions and how many are happening, locations.
So since we are on a tier system, it goes tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, right? So we have tier 2 that does the small groups, and then tier 3 would be our one-on-one interaction, right?
Thank you. Thank you.
And let's look at this student board representative report.
Welcome back.
And it was her birthday this week.
I know, that's what I was gonna say. It was yesterday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
So like how we previously discussed, we're working a lot on student voice, how we can improve our school to be better for not just staff but for students. So like I said before, we did have a student voice workshop in January, and then in the student interviews, which were made up of 2 interviews for each grade level, and those advisories are built off the red, yellow, and green students. And they just hosted the student meeting with all the presidents.
Jane was our rep on that. She's not here tonight. Can't wait because she will be at the rest of them. So the April meeting, she'll be able to give you the update on that meeting. But I'll give you a feeling on how that went. It was, you can see on the bottom of your list and on the back, those are the various clubs and their which 2 reps. So a real eclectic group of it was a really cool meeting. And the real powerful part about that is we started off by having the students look at the sexual framework. They were all able to name an adult that fit this for them. They were able to identify an adult that had a high standard and belief for them. They were able to describe the supports that were in place. And they were able to describe what it looked like when they were receiving relational trust. So that's how we started it off. And then we went with what's going well. And they definitely enjoy the traditions that we have in place. Fireworks are a big deal. All the different events that we have for seniors. They recognize variety of clubs that we have available to students. And then when we went to what can we do better, and this was again, it was a wide group of students. So started off, one of the first things we talked about was our Grizzly success. And when the exact description of it was kind of funny how they described it. But one of the things that Kim brought up, sometimes we forget why we have something in place. Even adults in our building forget that sometimes. So I shared a story with them about when Grizzly Time, Grizzly Success first started off. It was a 20-minute period in our school. Why it came in place. And so at that time, the first year, grades were going up and Fs were going down. And I wanted to know why. So I met with a group of students and I asked them, why is that happening? And they said, well, teachers care this year. And I'm like, I know teachers cared before we had Grizzly Time. And what they described was that during the day, there was a time where teachers would help them improve their grades. And it was the first time that we had it built into the school day. And that's what they felt. And so I asked the same question at a staff meeting, why are grades going up and Fs going down? Well, they said, well, students care this year. So again, it was that felt in time of the day. And so when I explained that to the student leaders, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. It's probably lost its way as we've moved away from 10-11. So there are definitely some things that can be tweaked in that, and the team should be able to be sharing that with you guys in the future time about what are some tweaks we can do to make that better. But I think it's cool that the student voice is going to be a part of that too. The other big part was respect and dignity for each other. And that made me think about the student voice training we went to at Granby. And I think we talked about that. It was one of the things they worked on at Granby was hate language. And at that training, it was student led. Rob Darling, the soup was there. And one of the things he brought up was where it was taking place the most was the classroom. And that intrigued me. So I'm talking to Rob and the students about that. What they said was that sometimes if it happened in the classroom, people weren't, as adults, not sure how to handle it. Like the camera, and how do I deal with this? And so when our students brought that up, it made me think about that too. And they actually said that same thing. They know that our staff care, but sometimes they don't know how to handle situations like that. So when we get back from spring break, this group is going to meet again. And we talked about this group is there'll be a committee that can work with staff members, and maybe it's creating in our classrooms just a simple phrase about how we handle situations like this. I think if we keep it simple, we can make it work. I had a chance to talk with Jeannie Vittori because I know she's doing some work with TI, and she's like, yes, this is so a good thing for our students to be involved with, and maybe it can help that group that's doing that work at that level too. So it was a real powerful meeting. We'll keep it going. Yeah, we'll be at the next meeting, so I should be able to give you a better, there'll be more student voice sharing with you guys. This is going to be again.
I just wanted to say that I think it's really great that you're taking the input of our students into consideration this progress moving forward. When I was in high school, I think when we were part of clubs or groups or presidents and things, or even on ASB president, whatever, you just kind of you didn't feel like your role was as impactful. And not that like we weren't cared for and loved and treated well, but we just didn't necessarily feel like we had a big role. And I feel like you're giving some strong ownership to the students, and that's scary, I'm sure, but also at the same time, it's scary for both parties. I'm sure they're a little like, oh, that's a lot of responsibility. But I think it's really great that they get to have a lot of impact and the progress and leadership of the
You guys saw on Tuesday night, those great meetings we came from the students that were involved with that. It's like a great example of student voice.
Love what you're doing. Thank you. Maybe I don't do our meeting.
Next we'll hear from the superintendent for superintendent's report.
President Sierra. I would love to give credit to all the district for all the things that happened last month, but I don't possibly have time because you'd be here until 9 o'clock. You've heard a lot of good work that's occurred tonight, but there's been so much that's happened in March. So I'm going to highlight a couple of those events that have happened because I think they warrant a public comment. One of those is the high school migrant night. I think they have about 500 families attend the migrant night. And so I want to give credit to the three employees at the high school who put the event on: Francisco, Delia, and Sister Ramirez, Delia Serna, and Alejandro Ramos. That is an event that takes a year of planning, and to pull that event off is incredible. So 2.5 hours of work. 2.5 hours of the event. It was also super exciting to see Francisco Navarro, who was one of our former students, who was the first gen college student who graduated from Eastern University and who now owns his own software company. And hearing his story, it was inspiring. So it was neat to see Francisco and his amazing wife, who's also a grad, who's going to be a doctor, both attend the event. So that was super special. Also, I'd like to give credit to Sierra Vista because Sierra Vista had the district's first Avid showcase, and it was a state showcase. We had 50 participants from around the state of Washington, including superintendents, directors, teachers, and other types. And the students led majority of the day, and Raquel attended. I think she could attest to how amazing that event was. So I wanted to give Principal Perez kudos for that event because that is a special event for a district. So good job. And also with that, I wanted to also remind you that Avid is not just 1 or 2 schools. You heard CK as well. Avid is a K-12 initiative in our district. And Avid, the goal, of course, is to follow our district vision, which all kids will be successful, college, career, and life ready. And that is basically the same as what Avid stands for, advancement via individual determination. But it's all about getting kids to have successful post-secondary careers in whatever they choose. So Avid has been a blessing for our district, and you saw the work, Raquel saw the work firsthand on Tuesday. I also wanted to give Lorenzo's team a lot of credit for the 4-part parent series that just got wrapped up last week. They had over 50 families that participated, and I know Sandra's brother was one of the presenters, Jose, and did a great job. And Sandra did, and one of the nights as well. And the feedback was 99% positive. Because I looked at it today and gathered the data, 99% for all 4 sessions combined. So good job to Lorenzo's team as well. What else there's a lot of other things to do, but I'll just say in May, I want to remind the public that we did switch the board meeting from Thursday to Wednesday because Thursday we're going to do a first harvest, second harvest, that's close. Second harvest food drive at Central Park. So we already do that on the Thursday of May instead of the board meeting. So, and I think that wraps up the comments. So thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. Before I move into action items, there was a mistake on the agenda. Can I get a motion to add the approval of the calendar, please? For the yeah.
I move to add the calendar approval to our calendar or to our agenda for today.
I second it. So the next item is approval of the resolution number 02-2026, Council Prevention Program. And then do I have a motion to approve?
I move to approve the resolution number 02-2026 Asset Prevention Program.
Second.
I second it.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Opposed, motion passes.
Well, if anybody has the motion to approve this.
Yes. So the next is to approve our calendar option for year 2026-2027. Is there a motion to approve? Calendar?
I move to approve option number 2 for 2026-2027 school calendar.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes for option number 2 for calendar 2026-2027. And this is the consent agenda. We'll start with the approval of minutes for February 23rd, 2026 board work session. Oh, actually, so items included are approval of minutes for February 23rd, 2026 board work session, approval of minutes for February 26th, 2026 regular board of directors meeting, policies, payroll and vouchers, budget status, personnel, and enrollment. The motion to approve the things. So I actually want to, so the first reading, is that included in this for?
So that would be your discussion. So first, we can do this. So I'm with the consent and give one second, and then we go to the session. The stuff on it.
Okay, because I do want to pull it and because of taking into consideration public comment, I do want to pull it and discuss something about it. Basically.
So we need to still do first.
Yes.
You have to do second.
Policy, but we'll let you, then you vote on the rest of it, and then we come back to the policy.
Right, and what's the policy number? Oh, actually.
Technically, we should need to do, no, we need to say, there's one that wants to, consent, so move for it, someone seconds it, then we discuss it, then we would go, or we hold the vote.
Okay, so do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move to approve consent agenda.
And do I have a second?
Okay, I second.
And is there any discussion?
No.
Yeah, so I want to pull it, I would like to talk about reviewing it. I know we're in a time crunch because we do want this for this graduating class, but taking into consideration public comment that was made tonight, I do want to talk to the team I know that there's a lot of research behind, what was stated and everything that was given to us the other day, but I would like to talk about it. I feel, because it was something we want to get before, like I said, done before graduation. We didn't really have time to discuss it. We just saw the policy and, this is the first reading, but I do want to take into consideration the public comments, so I would like to talk more about it.
I do have a question. Where does that put us on a time frame pulling the policy?
Yeah,
Especially if we're wanting to do it for graduation.
Yep.
The question is, where does that put us?
So it does delay it, so basically you're gonna have to, actually, no, it doesn't have to delay it. Next work session, you can actually do the second review, so you can find it there.
That's at
Yeah,
work session.
Yes, work session.
Okay.
So in order to do that, we don't want to necessarily pull it, we want to approve the first reading,
Correct.
and then we have the option to pull it at second. So we're not making this like
That's right.
official today, this is just.
Yeah, this is just the first reading.
Yes.
Right, but I do want to discuss it, yeah, so we'll review it at work session in April.
Just for some clarification, you're talking about policy 24.
24/5, yes, sir.
It's approved.
The memorial.
Approved consent, and then you approve for the review.
Yeah, because we can always pull it next month, but if we pulled it today, then we can still do first reading.
Okay, so we'll continue with the first reading and then pull it for review at work session in April.
Yes.
And then it would just,
Or discuss it, and
it'd
then
be
we'll
on time before graduation, correct?
Yes.
In April, yeah. Okay.
Since we're in discussion on it and we heard public comment, moving forward, how are we gonna get other voices in to this discussion? of how we can either change it, keep it as it is, or can we also read what the graduation, no, what it says under graduation, because I'm not sure if everybody is aware of what is in that policy. So can we read that right now? So people that are joining us can hear what that policy is.
Yeah, or you can just attach the policy, read it.
Okay.
It's attached on the board.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if we do wanna discuss this further, how are we gonna accept outside? That's like a parent, family members, we heard a comment today, so how are we gonna, take in any?
So part of policy adoption is people always have a chance during the review process to email me with their concerns. And so then I bring that to you. So the second review is concerns. Yep.
So, since you have access to the policy for our parents or family members that are watching, you would be able to email superintendent with any suggestions that you would want added or changed into the policy, so that we, for the next work session, we can discuss this.
Yeah, I'm good. Okay, so, then we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. And now we'll move on to items for the order and open public comment. So then, for items for good of the order, I wanted to, talk about really quick, I know that he's gonna hate me for this because he hates applause and he hates recognition, but I wanted to congratulate Evaristo over here because he just completed his degree on Monday. And I'm still feel proud. We'll do that later. So congratulations. I know that, you know, it's not easy, but I think things like that shows we celebrated and I'm really proud of you. And let's see. I have none of this. Sorry, else, yeah.
So I had the privilege, I did quite a bit of events this month. I did go to the mariachi concert, amazing. It gave me chills to see what our students are doing in the mariachi. I applaud them. Also, I went to a soccer game, and then I also attended the family night with Sandra was there, and amazing amount of people, a lot of families. Great job to the Latino Culture Club and also the migrant parents. That was, I can't even words to say, to see so many community members and the food provided and all the dancing and the mariachi music and things. So, and then also I had the privilege to visit, was it a couple weeks ago, I went to Pioneer. I am very impressed with your store. And then also just a way of everything how it's run and students and leadership, a great job to Pioneer. Then we went to CK, always amazing, Kim. Great job with the organization and everything that you do and just all the little things that you have for PBIS. And then also I went to Harrison Middle School as well. The phone, I mean, I was really shocked to walk in and not see a single phone out. In middle school, I am proud of what Harrison's doing, great job. And so that was it for my time.
I was also able to visit most of the schools. I'll visit the outlook tomorrow. I had a wonderful time. I thought the staff were real professional. I went to Sarah Vista. I was really surprised and grateful to see them how they apply their work in order to be with the students. They which I didn't know. I didn't even know this that they put their desks out in the hallways. I don't know how many people knows, and they don't confine themselves up to the back rooms, wherever the rooms are. This gives them access to all the students at all times. I think the students and probably the parents can appreciate that. And I thought when I seen that, I thought, wow, that's a really good activity. So kudos to them for that. All the schools were doing, I mean, it's a really good job of kind of, of applying the things that I was hoping to see. Pioneer, the Puma store there. And I want to I asked the public too, I don't know if they know this, but they can donate items for the students here that they can earn. I was able to see the store and I was told, a lot of those items come from, the teachers. They buy them and they donate them, and I'm glad that they do that, and so, I encourage the public to come forward, and if they want to see something there, to go include it, because that helps all our students. And it gives them an understanding of, that, we come in line, you have to work for the things, that you get, very raised, and everybody just give you something for free. And those kind of stores, and this includes, CK, I think those implies that responsibility for the students to earn those kind of things, because it builds up, their points or the cash that they have, the club cash or whatever it is. So I was just really amazed at it. I went to Washington, and I was able to play chess with a couple individuals, and although the superintendent was winning at the time that he gave me the game, I'm sorry to say that I lost that game. And then the kids there were letting me know, that I was, even though that I was older than, they were still beating me, so I appreciate that, And so it was a great time. I plan to spend a lot of time in the schools because I love to be there. I love the feel of it. I really enjoy it. So thank all the staff for doing, the wonderful things they're doing there. My point in going to those, to the schools is to see them. It's to see, all the struggles that you guys are doing and the things that you're achieving, so that I can bring it up. I can honor you guys in public, because a lot of the other parents would love to be a part of that. Someone work all the time, they can't see it. It's great that we can see them and share. So thank all the schools for allowing me to be gracious, and thanks so much.
I will share that we did do a school visit, Raquel and I and Ryan, we did school visits to service to the high school and also Harrison Middle School. So that was really great. Julie, again, I was very impressed, very impressed on the room service, right? Meeting our students where they're at. And so, I'm still waiting on that email for Postole too. Oh man, that's how busy I was then. Wait, that's how busy I was today. Maybe next time, right? Can we turn? Okay. I'm like, I thought of you when I saw it. Somebody needs to text me. I was busy at work today. Okay, next time for sure. But again, just walking through the schools, I thought it was amazing. So thank you all for all the hard work that you are doing with your students. I did get lost at the high school because again, I have not taken a tour since I was there. And so I was like, wait, I thought we were just back here. Now we're over here. So wow, that was pretty awesome. So again, thank you. I did get to attend the parent series with Lorenzo. Thank you. Awesome job, Lorenzo. Our parents that are coming through. Just very, surprised of just the interaction with the parents as well. So thank you for that. I did get to attend also the migrant night. Awesome job. Again, Manuel are working overtime, so hopefully we can have a race somewhere in there, and no promises. I know, right? And then also I do want to make an announcement that we are gonna be in a collaboration for April 22nd from 3 to 7. I do want to announce that today, just because all the people that are collaborating in this, I think it's great. But it's gonna be the City of Sunnyside, Sunnyside School District, Yakima Valley Partners of Education, and YUC. What we're gonna be doing is we're gonna have a college and career ready, right? So I know that our high school meets with our students, right? And it's awesome because I'm also in the College and Career Center. But also, what are we doing for our students that have already graduated too, right? Once a Grizzly, always a Grizzly, right? So what are we doing with our students that have previously graduated in other years? So this is gonna be an opportunity where our seniors currently and past graduates can come and receive help on either admissions, financial aid, because we're gonna have a financial aid team. And then also, what is their next steps? I think that as a first generation student, those are the barriers that we come with us not knowing after we apply, what is our next step, right? What do I need to do? Maybe I didn't add my school of interest as in my financial aid. So this is gonna be the opportunity where students in our community can come and receive all of that help. We have 7 colleges already, that have, said they're coming. So we have like CBC, Eastern, Perry Tech, Heritage. So, from where students can, if they have already, applied and they're missing maybe a next step, I don't know where I'm at, I'm stuck in this process. This is the opportunity for our students to come through. So Sunnyside School District is also helping, again, the city of Sunnyside. This will be held at the Sunnyside Community Center on April 22nd from 3 to 7. So we have a financial aid team, admissions team. Mr. Maxwell, he secured 15 laptops for us for that day where students could log in, receive any support. So I will be sending the flyers out, right, especially to our high school, so that way we can help promote that. And also Holly, so she can put it on the website. But again, I think this is a really great opportunity to collaborate as, a city, the school, our college that's nearby us, and then Yakima Valley Partners of Education, which there will be dinner, right, for those that complete a step. So, and if you complete a step, here's a ticket for you to get a plate of food. Thank you.
To piggyback on that, I think that's amazing. I've always said that as a city, school board in the city, and the city of Sunnyside Council, we should have a partnership. I saw the mayor here, but she's gone now, so I'm put her on the spot. But I think it's really good because then we have those students also, like we said last time, that take a year off or 2 and don't kind of have a plan yet. And so then they get stuck with like, okay, I'm not going to do much. There's not really support right now. So this will also be, that's the reason why she wanted to do it at the community center, because then kids that are no longer in high school can join in on that. So second harvest is May 28th. I will be needing 25 to 30 volunteers. If anybody wants to volunteer, don't everybody jump up at once, but you can email me. It'll be May 28th from 3 to 7, and we're going to have it at the Central Park parking lot. And I went through walkthroughs with Sandra and Ryan. Again, I always believe in giving praise where praise is due, and Julia really was impressed this year in Vista, and the room service also. That was really cool. The Harrison's back there too. That was really cool, Julie. No, but Harrison, amazing. Also, I have to repeat what Anna said, that I didn't see a phone in anybody's hand, and that was so cool to see. We got to jump into Miss Garibai's class, and I love her Gatti babies were so cute. They were in the middle of a lesson, and it was so cool to see that how they were like participating in it. Wow. And we have to get that mural painted ASAP, painted over. The high school, shout out to, was it Miss Rangel, Mr. Solis,
Yeah.
We did
He's
it.
so much the same. He was my English teacher. He doesn't age. I was like, so much the same.
They allowed us just to pop in and kind of see what they were doing too, and that was really cool. Yeah, that's all I got today. No further business. I'll motion to adjourn the March 26th, 2026 regular school board meeting.
I move to adjourn our 2020, March 26th, 2026.
Second.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Meeting is adjourned at 8:19 p.m.